Coming off a record-breaking quarter for QYOU Media, we're joined with CEO Curt Marvis to discuss his team reaching the highest revenue set in a quarter to date and why investors should be looking into this story as markets begin showing signs they're oversold. My good sir, welcome back.
Okay, nice to see you, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, and it looks like you are as well as your company, because for the 3 months ended in December 31st, 2021, your team accomplished several records, including $5.7 million in revenue, representing a 500% increase year over year, which is the highest quarter for your company to date, as well as having the first quarter achieving positive EBITDA for both Q India and QYOU USA as well. Can you dive into these numbers and why they're so significant for investors to be paying attention to?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, $5.7 million for us represents larger quarterly revenue than we did ever previously in a year. So that gives you kind of a
Yeah.
perspective on what that is. It's another $1 million higher than we closed the previous quarter, and we expect to keep going at this pace, or in some cases, in some quarters, I should say, even faster than that. So we're anticipating continued strong revenue growth, especially on an annualized basis. Our business can be affected by quarterly, results, et cetera, but the big things I would point out in this quarter is that we've now formed a foundation for our businesses. A lot of investors, kept asking me previously about, are you going to be cash flow positive, cash flow positive, cash flow positive? And in Q4, we really kind of dug in and said, if we were running this business as a private company, not as a public vehicle, can we operate the business units themselves in a profitable fashion? And that was a big goal for us, and we achieved that. Now that we're in Q1 of 2022 and we realize we've got the ability to do that, we're investing back into the business. So we've already made announcements that we've launched a couple of new channels this quarter. We've already spoken about the fact that we've continued to grow the US influencer marketing business by adding more people. And so what we're doing now is we're saying, okay, we've got a solid business, we've got a foundation, we know we can do this, now let's invest in our growth. And so 2022 is going to largely be about how do we take the capital that we have, how do we take the momentum we have, and how do we drive this business to much, much higher revenue goals and a much larger business across the board than we have had to date.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. It's exciting to hear as well, because I know you've been at this for a long time. It feels good when something you've been working on for so long really starts to get that traction. I know we've said this before, that hockey stick of growth and all these different things, and in so many different areas of your business as well. But like we said in our last interview as well, during a lot of this growth, the markets have been doing a little something else, unfortunately. As the markets have been beaten up a lot with the aftermath of the invasion of Ukraine and the several concerns before that, many companies, though, have chosen to go dark with news and on investors during this time, but you haven't. My question to you is, what goes into that strategy, but also what should investors be expecting from your team in the coming weeks and months? Even though the markets are the way they are, your team is obviously not stopping whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got affected a little bit ourselves by wondering, what's happening with the markets, why are companies, going down and down and down despite positive results. But we just have made the decision that, we're gonna buck the trend. I mean, we have so much positive news going forward that we'll be releasing over the coming weeks and months that there's no point in holding it back. Ultimately, I've been doing this a long time. Our chairman's been doing it a long time. You can't guess the markets. If we could all guess exactly when markets went up or down, then we wouldn't be here right now. We'd just be on our private island. So the fact of the matter is that markets always go up and down. There are always stories that people are responding to. And I think more than anything else, in terms of globally what's going on, is that China, it's been well publicized that with the government regulatory situation there's been a lot of money that's been pulling out of China in terms of an influx of capital there. Obviously, Russia and the Ukraine, I mean, it's extremely an unfortunate way for this to happen, but there was a lot of capital investment into both of those countries. Well, that's going to dry up right now. Well, guess what? We believe that India will be the beneficiary of that. India has already demonstrated that private equity and venture capital money has been flowing into India like never before over the last 12 months. We expect that to continue. And part of the reason we're launching more channels, we're growing our business, we're looking at M&A opportunities, we're driving things forward right now, is because we believe that India will be a beneficiary of those two events in a huge way. And we're just amazingly well positioned right now to take advantage of that. So for us, it's full speed ahead, foot down on the gas pedal. We've got capital, we've got momentum, we've got a macro environment in India that's positive. We're launching more channels and growing our brand across the board, and we're targeting an audience of young Indians that I talk about all the time. You got 650 million people, 25 years of age or younger, over 800 million, 35 and younger. It's the youngest population in the world, and that's our target audience. So we see every reason to keep driving into it.
Yeah, and once again, very exciting to hear. And also, you're talking about those other two aspects that are happening outside of India. Those are obviously just pouring fire. What was already happening in India in itself was growing so quickly. Like we've said in recent interviews, by all means, anyone can go up to the top here. You can see where our past interviews are, where we did a deep dive on your company. We spoke about that, but lots of different catalysts obviously coming up for you. And it's the right time, the right place. So Curt, I appreciate once again for your time. I look forward to speaking to you again soon to start talking about some of those things you were hinting on there as well. I look forward to that.
Yeah,
Hope you enjoy
good
and have a
news,
great day.
good news to come. Good news to come, Brandon. We'll be talking soon.
Absolutely. Take care now.